Hello and welcome back to Substream News. I'm Joseph, your guide to the weird, wonderful, and absolutely wild from the world this week. Let's begin. Today we're starting with a new research report from Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon that suggests that AI is damaging our cognitive thinking. What a surprise. Well, the researchers found that the more workers trust an AI to handle their tasks, the more they're damaging their brain. That's a big problem. It's actually a problem that goes way further back than AI. If you think about it, every time you use a calculator on your phone to calculate maths that you could actually do with your brain if you took the time, you're deferring your mental cognitive abilities to a device. We do it for relationships, like with social media, but when we start to do it with our actual work and creative output, we start to lose the things that make us us, right? Like, I'm a presenter for this channel. If I were to make an AI clone of myself to present this channel to you, I would no longer be presenting. My AI clone would, and I would have to program it and teach it, but then I would free myself from this position and I would lose my presenting skills, which rusty, let's say. But one researcher says, used improperly, technologies can and do result in the deterioration of cognitive faculties that ought to be preserved. Now, on a personal level, I use AI. I use it because it's interesting. I like playing around with the different tools and comparing them and their prompts and seeing what they're capable of. They all have their limitations, but they are really incredible. When GPT first came out, I didn't really like it. I didn't find that it helped me at work or my workflow. I didn't trust its output. And then better tools came along. Anthropic came along with Claude, and now we're seeing DeepSeek, and I actually like Gemini as well. Gemini is very good. But the best one for me right now is Qwen, Qwem. That's backed from Alibaba-backed AI, super powerful, really fast. The output is incredible. It really understands the prompts. And I have to be careful because the more I use Qwen and the other ones, I have to now consider that I'm damaging my own mental abilities. Cognitive AI. I'm Joseph, and this is Substream News. Oh, sorry, guys. I think I've probably been using too much AI. So, while AI can boost efficiency, the study reminds us of the importance of doing some things ourselves, keeping our brains in good shape. A good bit of brain training is always valuable. Keep your cognitive functions efficient, let's say. So, just don't let your brain atrophy because AI is so wonderful and powerful. Give your brain a good workout. And one way that I suggest to do that is to head down here somewhere and find the subscribe button and subscribe to Substream News, because we're always trying to come with great futuristic, dystopian, inventive, innovative stories from the world that keep you informed and keep you thinking and challenging your own knowledge, perceptions, and beliefs. Now it's time to move on to the next story. Guys, new inventions might not just be killing your brain cells like AI, they might be messing with your taste buds too. Now, the next piece of technology is really weird, and it's almost like something from sci-fi. I guess it is something from sci-fi in the sense that as a kid, I remember thinking, what if I could taste any flavor at any time and have access to like different sensations at any time, and if that was something you could program? Well, scientists in Hong Kong have figured it out. The University of Hong Kong, they've created this gadget. It looks a bit like a futuristic lollipop. It uses a process called iontophoresis to transport flavor-inducing ions through agarose hydrogels. Have no idea what any of that means. Basically, when you lick it, your saliva mixes with the food-grade chemicals and it creates flavors. The little lollipop only weighs 15 grams, which is not a lot at all. And yeah, it works. It's designed to work with VR, AR, and XR environments, so that if you're playing a game where flavor is relevant, this little lollipop could be able to connect to the device and give additional sense to your VR or AR or XR. I think that's really cool. Just remember, ask nicely before you lick someone else's VR lolly, all right? Because, you don't want their spit all over it. You want to give it a good clean first. What am I talking about? This invention's weird. I think it's too weird. You might disagree. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. If you think this is cool and you want one, the problem is you, actually. Yeah, the problem's you. That's weird. No, too weird. Okay, so we got no thinking, no licking, and now no driving. Yes, this story obviously is about self-driving cars. In the future, we probably won't have to drive, and for some that's a bit of a relief. For me, it doesn't matter. I actually never learned to drive, so it doesn't affect my life too much. But I have some wonderful news for you if it does, and it's a competitor to Tesla. You might not see BYD very much, but where I live in Asia, I see BYD a lot more than Tesla. I would say it's arguably more popular here, and they look really nice. But they're actually planning a new model that they're going to integrate their God's Eye intelligent driving features. Now, the new model is the BYD Seagull. Let me slide over to the side. You can have a look at it right here. Amazing. I think it's really cool. I'm going to go as far as saying, and some of my friends and family probably won't believe me on this, if I had this car, I would go and learn to drive because I think they're super cool. It's fully electric. It's a great city car. It's self-driving, so I probably don't even need to learn to drive that much. And I just think it's a wonderful innovation. But you will know the real driver of a self-driving car is its price, right? I think I read somewhere that the cheapest self-driving car on the market right now is $28,000, which is quite a lot, but not unrealistic for some. This new model, the Seagull, $9,500. That's incredible. I'm bullish. I'm super bullish. I don't know what else to say. I just think that's a great car. It may even make me want to sell my motorbike and hit the road and sit in traffic all day. So I have a quote here from BYD CEO Wang Chuanfu. They said, "Good technology should be available to everyone." And I agree, and that's exactly why they're going to make it accessible. The future for robotic cars just got a lot more interesting, guys. Let's race on to the next story. Okay, we're moving on to a new story now, and it's relocation, right? Immigration, moving to another country on the other side of the world. And in particular, it's for the wealthy, for the investors. And I'm not selling any particular package here. I'm not promoting any particular country. But I do want to present two different approaches. They were both in the news this week, and I found them both interesting for different reasons. The first one is New Zealand, right? And they've just made some big changes to their golden visa program. And the changes include no English requirement. So before you needed to know English. Now, any foreigner who doesn't speak English is welcome. Reduced residency stay. So actually, the length of the residency is shorter, and they've increased the number of investment options in terms of things you can invest in to qualify for New Zealand residency. Now, there are two different tiers, and the first one is that it's called the growth category, and you must invest a minimum of 5 million New Zealand dollars over 3 years, but you only need to be in New Zealand 21 days per year, which, I think this is kind of weird. Like, surely you'd want them to be there longer, but, it's up to people's preference. There's another investment category, a new one called balanced category. You have to invest 10 million over 5 years in stocks, bonds, residential or commercial property, and you must stay at least 105 days per year. But if you invest more, you can reduce the number of days that you need to stay there. So that means you can pay more to be there less of the time. Weird. Why am I telling you this? Well, you might not like what's going on in your country. I certainly don't like what's going on in mine. I have relocated very happily. You may want to do the same. We can't do a lot to affect the decisions that our countries make and the routes they go down. that's life. You might want to look at moving to another country. And so being aware of things like this system in New Zealand, or flag theory or nomad capitalist, these kind of things are important to know about. You get a better idea of the world. Now, I left my country at age 23 and emigrated, and it was the best thing I've ever done. So don't close your mind to these, even if there is a high cost requirement. Now, there's a part 2 to this story. I told you there was a second country. Now I'm going to tell you about what's happening in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is rolling out the red carpet for crypto investors. Yes, as of last week, Bitcoin and Ethereum can be used as proof of wealth when doing investment visa applications. You need 30 million Hong Kong dollars. Now, don't worry, I'll do the translations, the currency conversions afterwards. But crypto now counts as wealth according to Hong Kong. And this is part of Hong Kong's push to develop the region into a crypto hub. And actually, they've done really well. They were early on regulations. They've been very encouraging to investors and developments and projects building out there. Now, this allows you to move there or apply for an investment visa just by holding crypto. So for the new rich, the crypto generation, it's really opening doors more than just financially. It's being recognized by different states as making you a valuable citizen. Now, let me give you the currency conversion. So New Zealand, that was for the 3-year investment, 5 million NZD is 2.87 million US dollars. So 10 million's $5.74 million. For Hong Kong, 30 million Hong Kong dollars is about 3.85 million. That's about 40 Bitcoins or 1,400 ETH at today's prices. I'm sure it'll be completely different tomorrow. Doesn't stay the same for long, does it? What's the impact of this? This really is an important story that I want to touch on. I work kind of around the Web3 space, touching crypto and Bitcoin and stuff like that. We talk a lot about institutional demand and institutional investment and drivers of that. We try to identify the ways in which the wealthiest people in the world will take action and affect the markets. What will drive prices up? What will make institutional investors jump into crypto? And we saw with the spot Bitcoin ETF last year, there are things that can happen that can pump the markets and drive a lot of adoption and investment. Now, this secondary news, the Hong Kong story, that's a huge driver, because when leading regions like Hong Kong act, usually other places follow suit. Now, other countries are going to have this idea that, we can attract high net worth individuals who might not be cash rich, but might be crypto rich, to move to our place and invest in our country just because they own enough crypto. And for crypto holders, especially long-term investors, that kind of opens up the map to them, or will one day. And I think that's a really interesting narrative. Hope you do too. Tell me, where would you go if you could move anywhere in the world? Where would you go? Let me know in the comments. Thank you. Let's move on to the next story. Now, in the future, once the robots are taking over our duties, our thinking, our licking, and our driving, we might have a lot of time on our hands. And so, what should we do with that time? I propose an idea. How about we all go and get chickens? Why not? Chickens are cool. They're cute. They're fluffy, kind of. But actually more than that, they give eggs. And eggs are making the news regularly. We covered them in a story just last week, how there was a massive egg theft worth, $40,000? People have resorted to stealing eggs. They've become a luxury item. They're so expensive. So why not? Why not get eggs? If you've got a garden, why not get chickens if you've got a garden? So I've looked and I've found a guide to raising hens, and I want to share some information. The full guide is, of course, in the video description. All of our sources are down there. We are good journalists. We try to be and share all of our sources. So you can go click those. But here's the quick bit. This is for a 6-month hen raising project. The average backyard hen lays 8 to 14 eggs per week during peak seasons. Over 6 months, that's between 48 and 84 eggs. The cost is about $500 for a decent coop and fencing, plus about $20 per month for food and upkeep. and the cost for 2 chickens would be about $100. So we're looking at $720 for the first 6 months. That will get you between 48 and 84 eggs. Now, 48 to 84 eggs will cost you between $20 and $35, $40 in the US. That's pretty expensive, but not as expensive as the setup costs for the coop. But remember, once your coop is built, your startup costs are done, and you can keep adding more chickens. I've done the math. How long does it take for an ROI on a chicken? A chicken lays between 4 and 7 eggs per week. If we're being conservative, it would take about 30 weeks to pay back the cost of your chicken. If we're being generous, it's more like 18 weeks to pay back the cost. Somewhere in the middle, let's say 24 weeks. The price comparison is between American store-bought eggs, not fresh eggs, fresh from farm or garden to table, in your own home from an animal that you actually know, kind of, trust, kind of, or like have some kind of emotional bond and affection for. That's a beautiful thing. You're going to love those eggs more because you were the caregiver to the hen that laid it. You're going to appreciate it more. You're going to savor that flavor. You're going to be curious about that flavor. I believe you will have a much more integrated experience with your food. And if not, if it turns out that your chicken's a right little clucker, winner chicken dinner. You've got homemade KFC waiting. Look, that's it from me. I'm Joseph. This is Substream News. If you're not yet subscribed, why not? Come on. It's free. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.